I'm building out a client project where they have a pretty simple 3-step process, and it looked pretty good with just these numbers 1, 2, 3, but I think it looks better if we connect those numbers with a little bit of a dashed line. Now, there are a lot of different ways you can do this, but in today's video, I thought I'd show you the approach that I took that makes it automatically responsive, and with the help of a few custom properties, we can even change the size of these numbers in the future, and all the math will automatically recalculate for you, keeping all your lines perfectly in position. Now, that might sound a little bit confusing, but stick around and watch this video because I think this is a trick that you can use on a lot of your upcoming projects. Now, I did go ahead and get a few things set up here, so let's go over all that. None of this is that fancy, and I didn't want to have to make you sit through watching me do this. So what we have here is a list inside this where we have our 1, 2, 3 steps. I have this set up as a grid, so we'll see it's under display grid. I have a repeat 3 columns, and then I have just a little bit of gap in between my grid items. Now, importantly, I did set this up as an ordered list as far as the tag name, since we do have an ordered list in here. And I needed to go ahead and get rid of some of the padding that comes with the list. So that padding left, I've gone ahead and set to 0. Now, inside that list, we have 3 list items. I'll just go ahead and collapse these here. All of these have been set to a list item. So if we go back up here to our settings, we'll see that this is set as a list item. Now it has a list item class on it. All my stylings for this are inside of this class. And inside of there, we have our numbers. Now the rest of this we're not going to be messing with, so we'll leave those alone. But for our list number, I do have a class of list number. You'll see if I go into this class, I've set a width and height of 3M. We'll be coming back to that later, but I just wanted to kind of give you a lay of the land here. Now, most of what we're going to do here is using the list item itself. We're going to be selecting this list item number, but only from the list item itself. You'll see how that works here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here to our list item class. Now we're only going to be doing these connecting lines on tablet and desktop. If we go ahead and take a look at this on the front end, I'll go into the inspector here. You'll see we have 3 columns next to each other until we get down to our mobile breakpoint at 768, and then they all stack on top of each other. It wouldn't make sense to have the lines in this layout, so we're only going to be affecting the tablet and desktop versions. So let's go back in here into our editor. We'll go into the breakpoint settings here, and we're going to select desktop and tablet. Now we have our list items selected. We're only selecting desktop and tablet. And let's scroll down here until we get to position. And we want to make sure that this is set to a position of relative. We're going to be positioning these lines based on these list items themselves. So we need to make sure that this is set to relative. Now, to create the lines, we're actually going to be using pseudo elements on these list numbers, but I want to select them from this list item because we don't want to have our last list item having these lines. Basically, the line's going to connect from the center of this number over to the next one, and then from the center of this number over to the next one. And we get to this last one here, we don't want a line shooting off the right, so we want to select our first 2 list items, but not our last one. So to do that, here still inside this desktop and tablet breakpoint, I'm going to go to manage selectors and create a new selector. Now this is going to be a little bit more complex, but it's going to give us the selection we need to make sure we're only selecting the first 2 in this case. So we're going to type in an ampersand and put colon not, and then we'll open our parentheses and we'll do colon last hyphen child. There we can go ahead and close that not selector, and we're going to put a space because we actually want to select the list number inside of that. So I'll do dot list number, and we're going to be creating a pseudo element. So I'll do a double colon, and we'll just use the after pseudo selector here since it's going to be going off to the right. It just makes a little bit more sense in my brain. So go ahead and create that selector, and now we can do all the styling we need. So we'll scroll down here to the bottom. Anytime we're using a pseudo element, we need some kind of content. In this case, it's just going to be blank, so I'll just use 2 quote marks. We'll go up to our position settings here. We want to set this to absolute. And for now, I'm just going to put 0 at the top and 0 at the left. We're going to have to come back and change that later, but I just want to go ahead and get some values there so we can see this appear on the screen. Next, we'll scroll up to our sizing, and I'm going to change the width to 100% so it takes up the entire width of our list item, since that's what it's positioned relative to. And then we'll go in here to our border. I'm just going to give this a top border. You could do top or bottom. It doesn't really matter. We'll go ahead and just make it this dark color for now and go back and change that. You can see we have a little border showing up on here now. and we'll go ahead and change this to dashed. Now you'll see inside the editor here, this little dashed line is only showing up 100% of the width of this list number. And that's because everything inside of the block editor is automatically positioned relative inside the editor, even if it's not positioned relative on the front end or you didn't set it to be positioned relative. It's a quirk that can be really annoying because what you see here isn't what you'll see on the front end. In fact, just to show that to you, let's go ahead and save our changes. We'll go back to the front end and refresh now, and you can see our dashed line is actually going the full width of our list item here, even though in the editor, it's only going the width of this number itself. This is just a quirk of the editor that we're gonna have to work around here, and you're gonna have to imagine the way it looks on the front end. Unfortunately, it just kind of is what it is. Now, obviously, we don't have this line positioned in the right place. We wanna move it down, and we wanna make sure that it's moved to the edge of this number here. So back here in the editor, let's go back down to our position. Now what we want to do is move this line down half of the height of this number. If you remember back here in our number itself, we have this set to 3 rem width and 3 rem height. So let's get back into our selector here by clicking on that. We need to select our new selector we created, and we need to make sure that we're at that breakpoint where we have all these settings already set. So for our inset values, instead of 0, we want to do this half of the height of our number. So it was 3 rem, so I'm just going to change this to 1.5 rem. Now we're going to come back later and talk about a safer way to do this where we're not just putting in magic numbers everywhere, but just to show you how this works, I'm going to go ahead and put in this raw value of 1.5 rem. We'll just save our changes again, refresh on the front end, and now we can see that this line is right in the center of our circle where we want it. Obviously, it's centered inside of these list items themselves, which we don't want, but we can see that we're not selecting that third one, which is perfect. So let's just go ahead and get this little line moved over to the center of these boxes here. We'll go back into the editor here, and under our left value, instead of 0, let's do 50%. You can see here in the editor, it started that line right at the center of our circle. So let's go ahead and save those changes, refresh on the front end, and now we can see that this is showing up right here in the center of our circle, so we're getting a whole lot closer. Now, because it's right in the center of our circle, it's actually stopping shy of the circle over here, so 50% isn't gonna work exactly. We need to change this to a calc function. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in calc and open and close our parentheses, and then inside those parentheses, I'm gonna do 50% plus half of the width of our circle, which if we remember is 1.5 rem. So now that we got that set, our little dashed line is sitting right at the edge of our circle. We can go ahead and save those changes, refresh on the front end, and now our line is positioned exactly the way we want it to be. Now, because we've set this up to be 100% of its container, it's gonna go ahead and size down appropriately. Even if we're at desktop or tablet, this line isn't gonna overflow anything. So we have a really good control over our line here. And then since we set this only on desktop and tablet, it's gonna go ahead and get rid of that line once we get down to mobile and everything stacks, and a line doesn't really make sense in this context. Now, if you're comfortable with this setup and you don't ever see these numbers changing in size, you can stop right here and this is totally gonna work. However, we put in these raw values of 3 rem for the width and height of the circle, and then we base some math off of that size. The problem with that is if we ever decided we wanted these numbers to be a different size, we'll go in here to our list number and let's change this to maybe 5 rem by 5 rem. Let's say we just wanted a much bigger circle. If we go ahead and save those changes and refresh on the front end, you can see now our line isn't positioned correctly anymore. It's not far enough down and it's not pushed off far enough to the right. This is because we based all this math off of half of that 3 rem size. So now none of the math works anymore. If we change that, we'd also have to go in here, go to our list item, select that class, go into the desktop and tablet, make sure that we're selected that pseudo element, and we can go down here and instead of 1.5, we can change this to 2.5 since that would be half of 5. And we'd also have to change this to 2.5. And now we'd have everything back in the right place. That's kind of a pain if you ever expect these numbers to change in size. So if instead of basing this off of a static value, we created a custom property, we could set this all up so that one value controls everything, including the size of the numbers and the exact position of the connecting line. Now, the problem is here inside the editor, we can't just set custom properties very easily. We could go into the customizer and write some additional CSS, but there is a workaround where we can make all this work inside the editor. This is a little bit of a hack, but I thought I'd throw it in here just to show you how it works. So what we're going to do is go back to our list. We can't write custom properties to a class, but we can write them to elements. Since all these list items and list item numbers live inside this list and they're unlikely to live anywhere else, we can go and select our list here. We'll go to our settings panel and scroll down to the advanced column. And here under the HTML attributes, we can type in the word style in the first field. And then here we can create our variable. All those are going to start with a double dash, and we'll do list hyphen number hyphen size colon, and let's just go ahead and start this out with 5 rem. So basically what we're doing here is adding an inline style, creating this variable of list number size, and setting it to be 5 rem. Actually don't need the closing parentheses there, so we'll go ahead and save those changes. Now we can go back and set these numbers and set up all the math using this variable instead of using the static values of 3 or 5 pixels. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that and copy it. We'll go back in here into our list number, and instead of the 5 rem, I'm going to type in var, open our parentheses, and then paste in that list number size. We can go ahead and copy that and set it as the height as well. Obviously, since we already had this set as 5, we're not seeing any changes. But the benefit of using a custom property here is now if we wanted to change this value, we can go back to our list under this HTML attribute and change this to 3 rem. Go ahead and hit the check mark. And you can see these have automatically resized since they're referencing this custom property we set up. Now we need to use that same custom property inside of all of our math to make sure that this line positions itself appropriately. So we'll go back into our list item here. We'll make sure that we're selecting the right breakpoint, and then we'll get back in here into our pseudo element. So there are a couple places here where we listed that static value. So here for the top value, what we're wanting is half of that list number size. So what we can do is do a calc. Inside that calc, we'll do our variable, which was list number size, and then we're going to do divided by 2. So now with this calculation inside of here, you can see our little line in between these is right in the center of our numbers again. We need to do the same thing over here for our left value since it's not lined up there. Again, we're just going to do var list number size divided by 2. Make sure we have our closing parentheses in there. And now this should line up perfectly. Let's go ahead and save those changes. We'll refresh on the front end, and you can see here at the 3 rem size, everything is lining up perfectly. And if we went back into our list and change that variable from 3 to 5, we'll go ahead and change it here. Click the check mark, hit save. Refresh on the front end, you'll see everything has recalculated automatically just based off that one single value. This is a much safer way to do it if you ever think the size of these numbers is going to change. But again, if you don't ever see that changing, you could leave those static numbers in there and get away with this fine. It just depends on what links you want to go to make this a little bit more maintainable over time. Now, I do think that using pseudo elements and custom properties here is really the way to go, but unfortunately inside the Generate Blocks editor, it means we have to do a lot of clicking around to get to all these things. I find myself constantly just jumping straight into the CSS and writing a few declarations in order to do everything we did inside this video. My hope is that Generate Blocks is going to make it easier to be able to add custom CSS or just write your own custom CSS directly inside the editor, but only time will tell. I do think it would cut down on some of the unnecessarily clicking around inside the panels that we constantly have to do, but of course you'd have to be comfortable writing that CSS, so it's kind of a give and take depending on what most of their users want to do. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would really appreciate a thumbs up, and if you want to make sure to catch the next one, hit subscribe, and we'll see you then.